Historical markers line our roadways, emphasizing the mission of the William G. Pomeroy Foundation to support the preservation and celebration of community history.
The Brockport Trolley Depot was a historic staple of the Brockport community during the 1900s. A historical marker was installed in May of 2021 as a collaboration between the Brockport Community Museum and the William G. Pomeroy Foundation. The Trolley Depot marker can be found at 36 Erie Street, Brockport, New York.
It educates people about their community, and it educates people about this almost forgotten aspect of the community.
Most folks would never have known that the depot existed there. I mean, if you look at the photos of the actual depot in operation, you would never recognize the modern building today.
Down Erie Street and State Street, right in the middle of the street, there used to be trolley tracks that connected Brockport to Lockport and Buffalo to the west and to Rochester to the east.
In the minds of the villagers today, many were not alive when this electric trolley operated. So the living history is virtually gone from the village. Thanks to the marker, we clearly know that something took place there, and it was specifically that the trolley line operated down Erie and State Street, but that the building operated as a depot. Unfortunately, as of today in 2026, the building is a vacant commercial property.
And those tracks are part of what's called an interurban railroad system that became popular in the United States to supplement the railroads, which were really used for connecting larger cities. And it was just an important piece of Brockport's history. We tend to focus on the importance of the canal because the canal is still there and the tracks from the trolley are long since gone.
These interurban railroads were created after the canal began to have problems with reaching newer and smaller established towns. It was also very hard at the time for people and goods to reach these smaller towns from larger cities. Interurban railroad systems like this one were a big deal in the early 1900s, allowing people to travel from nearby cities and towns such as Buffalo, Lockport, and Rochester.
Trolley Depot existed for people to go in and purchase tickets, but it was also a way station for the trolleys. They were able to turn around in a little loop that existed there at the time, and it provided a valuable service.
Whether you were a worker trying to get to work outside of Brockport or coming into work in the village of Brockport, it also allowed for students to come from Brockport, or come into Brockport to go to school at the then college between 1908 and 1931. Historically, the campus was solely for those who lived on campus or lived right off campus in the village. But the trolley allowed for students to come as far away as Rochester, as far away as Wayne County, and even points west that we know of into Orleans and Niagara County.
But people weren't the only thing the trolley transported. The trolley line was also for transport of goods such as produce and dairy products. Across western New York, there are a lot of agricultural areas along the Erie Canal. The trolley allowed for goods to ship along the route so farmers could bring their goods right to the trolley depot as well as to the various stations along the way. A little known fun fact, the trolley depot itself was owned by two separate railway companies. Firstly, the Buffalo, Lockport, and Rochester Railway from 1908 to 1919, which then reorganized to the Buffalo, Lockport, and Rochester Railroad Corporation from April 1919 to 1931.
Unfortunately, the two companies that operated the trolley line, so from one point was from 1908 to 1919, and then from 1919 until 1931, both of those companies experienced financial difficulties throughout their time operating this trolley. You had maintenance costs on these unique cars that were made specifically for this trolley line. Granted, they were modern at the time, but there were a lot of costs to that. And if you think about the time period, it's the turn of the 20th century going into the early 30s, and as many folks remember, the Great Depression took place in the early 30s. That was truly the coup de grace that ended the trolley operation.
It all goes to show there are stories to be told about local history, as well as the preservation of it.
This historical marker was brought to you by the William G. Pomeroy Foundation. If you or someone you know wants to request a historical marker of a person or place, contact the William G. Pomeroy Foundation at wgpfoundation.org.